Hello friends and enemies. Welcome back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here. I feel very somber today. I think we all know it has been a bad week, bad month, bad year for a lot of reasons. And I am back with the Romancelandia March update while my cat yells at me on my craft desk. So if you hear noises, that's her. So where to start? So obviously this week has been really hard, and this is the one time I'm going to directly address what's going on in the world right now, because I think it's important to speak up and to use my very small platform to talk about this. I don't think my stance on this is a surprise to anyone at all. Obviously everything that is going on right now with the protests in America and across the world is a big deal, and it is important, and I will be linking a whole thread Romance Sparks Joy just did, which is hashtag Romance for Justice, to help with bailout funds and Black Lives Matters movement and all of the Black people that have been murdered because of police brutality. I'm not getting into it in depth because it is not my place. My job is to elevate the voices of those speaking out, which is what I do on Twitter, and I have donated money to bailout funds. That's what I'm doing. Obviously, if you want to do the same, go for it. If not, that's your choice. But I'm going to share what I'm doing here because I felt like it made the most sense in the update, and otherwise we are going to stick for the most part to bookish content on this channel. I'm always going to speak out about injustice. That's part of why this update came about in the first place, and I'm at a loss for words at this point. I'm very, very angry, and I will use my white lady power to fix what I can at the end of the day, and then also to know when to check my privilege. On that note, if you have questions or things you want to know about being a better ally, I will put a link down below to a full list from Romance Sparks Joys for diversity and inclusion training, diversity, equality, and inclusion training. I will link that in the comments for you, or in the description box. Go check that out. Start reading, Google. If you really can't find something you're looking for, you can totally ask me, but don't go ask Black people or anyone else for those things, please and thank you. It's not their job to educate you. Google exists for a reason. All right, so on to our Romancelandia update for May, which felt very fast. These months have been weird. It's like super long, like never ending, or it's over in a blink. I'm hoping we find somewhere in the middle in June, but we'll see. One thing I attempted to do this month is make more categories, kind of, so I'll have timestamps down below, but we will kick this right off with the RWA. We have news this month, and that news is that the nationals are canceled and will only be online. They're slowly releasing some info, and I think by the time this video goes live, something will have been released. I will link it down below for y'all to check out who is going to be on the panels and whatnot. I think this is a great move. This will give them time to organize the plan for next year and for being more inclusive. In other news, they canceled the Ritas forever, for good. They're gone, in the trash, thank goodness. It's really hard, I think, to fix something that's as broken as the Ritas became. So to me, throwing it all out isn't a bad thing. And I do think that it will allow them to create this new award, which is called the Vivian, named after the founder of the RWA, Vivian Stevens, who is a literal legend in the romance community. She is one of the reasons we have the romances we have today, and she is a Black woman, and that is forgotten by too many people. I love reading about her history, so I thought I would share that the Pop Culture Library at Bowling Green State University has a romance department, and they have a whole thread they did on Twitter about Vivian, and I highly recommend you go read it. Learn all about her career as an editor for romance and what she did on the whole. I think it's something that a lot of people in the RWA need to remember and be reminded of. So I'm excited for the Vivian, or not excited, I'm hopeful for the Vivian and that it goes really well. They have said that they're going to have a clear rubric for standardized judging and more judge training for diversity, for DEI. DEI is diversity, equality, and inclusion, by the way, but it's a lot of words to say. Anyways, they're going to have more training and standardized judging, which the Ritas did not have. They are going to have a better matching process for who judges what category. So if you're judging in a category, you should be an expert in that subgenre of romance. And they're developing a new category for unpublished authors, which is very exciting. The other fun thing I found this week, or right before actually the last update went live, is a spotlight from 1983, so before I was alive by like 5 years, with Janet Daly and Vivian Stevens interviewed on Dateline with Ted Koppel, I don't know. Anyways, I highly recommend y'all check this out. It is a throwback, and it's really interesting to see that the arguments made against romance haven't changed since 1983, which says a lot to me. People are very threatened by women's happiness and joy and enjoyment of anything, right? It's just the facts at this point, I feel like, to an extent. So yeah, that is a fun watch for y'all, and I seriously cannot recommend it enough. Next, I have Bookish Stuff. So this is going to be like interesting Twitter threads and book clubs, things like that. That's what I'll include in this section. So first we have a new romance book club called Rainbow Riot that is going to be reading all LGBTQ romance books. So they have a Discord server. I will link the tweet down below. I'm super excited for this. I'm hoping to find a lot more own voices, queer romance in my life as soon as possible through this club. And next we have, honestly, something I don't even want to talk about, but in the current state of the world feels even more relevant of a discussion, and that is Meet in the Middle by Devon Daniels. Is starting to get reviews. I'll pop the cover up right here. So Berkeley Romance is publishing this, and I think another pub also tried to buy it, so there was like a bidding war of sorts. And Jen Reads Romance read it, and she does a great takedown about the issues with this and what this book is portraying. If you didn't know, I guess I should tell you, this is a book about someone who is a Democrat and a Republican falling in love. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, okay? Like, I know it does. I've known people, but I don't know if that can happen right now. And Jen Reads Romance really, really breaks it down and talks about this. It also brings up a great point about there's literally a law in Congress right now, like it's a bill that's going through, and it's been held up for years because of gun rights in this law, okay? Because of gun rights to protect domestic violence. And people who commit acts of domestic violence can't buy guns if this law gets passed, and they don't want to pass it. Like, this is mind-boggling. But anyways, Jen's review I think does a great job. I am planning to read this book and review it for y'all and kind of dive into some other people's reviews with my review and like pull a lot of data kind of and have a discussion about the issues with this book. I highly doubt I will like it. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and that's gonna come closer to release, I think. Let's see. And then also Femme Trash on Twitter did a great response to Jen and talking about what you're saying when a book like this is published and what you're saying when you buy it and things like this are put into the world. I highly recommend reading that thread as well. There was a lot of really good discourse around this book. Great conversations happening. Also, this is like just kind of wrapped up recently, like today-ish. I will say that I don't feel the discourse around the Meet You in the Middle has been that different from The State of Us by Sean David Hutchinson, which is a gay YA book. I have no plans on reading it. I've seen people who blurbed it pulling their blurbs, and a lot of bad things. Jen Reads Romance also read this and reviewed it, and some other people have as well. I think it's well worth a dive onto Twitter to find some opinions, and then the author's been blocking people who talk about the book in a negative capacity, which is weird. Don't search your own name, y'all. Like, just don't do it. Don't do that. Something fun. So let's get away from politics and sadness. It's literally what we don't need right now. Rom Book Love happened on Twitter. I will link to it down below in the comments. You can go through and see everyone's tweets about different tropes and themes and romance. I love when this happens. I love seeing my Twitter feed just full of Rom Book Love prompts. I definitely fell off like halfway through, if that, which is what I always do with anything that's a month long. I just can't, I don't know. I just never can, ADD. I just like wander off. Off I go into the distance, which is totally fine. I still love it, and I love using it as a resource to find books. Okay, and then for all of my Outlander fans, I enjoy Outlander, so no hate here, but I do think this book is hilarious. So Diana, who wrote Outlander, I don't know how to say her last name, y'all. Anyways, Outlander author. She wrote a book about how to write sex scenes in books, and she has 13 pages for other words for penis. So if you need a laugh, I'll linked it down below. And I think she only had like 1 or 2 pages for vagina, and my new favorite is panty hamster. So go forth with this power, with this knowledge of new words. Yeah, I just I'm sorry, I'm a child, but it's fine. I find this stuff so funny. I cannot help it. I enjoy it. I won't read her books because I just can't, but I like the show a lot. So I just can't because they're too long. By the way, I read some, but I was like, I'm done. This is too much. I can't commit. Anyways, just go enjoy that thread if you need a laugh. Specifically lists of words. I mean, what's better? All right, and then we have our next section, which is book announcements. These are just the few of many that I caught and thought sounded interesting. First, we have Karina Holley has a royal adjacent book coming out next year. I think it's 2021. I'll have to put a note. I'll pop it up here if it's not 2021. It is about a neighbor, someone who lives next door to where the royals are living, and their bodyguard. I'm very excited for this. I think this sounds like such a treat. It's a little different. You know, we're kind of stepping outside the usual royal book, which is like the royal and the bodyguard. So I'm excited. I think this sounds fun. She was inspired by Harry and Meghan's living in Toronto. I think that's where they lived in Canada. Wherever they lived in Canada for a while. Also, the Karina Adore line launched, which is their new LGBTQ line, and 2 of the 4 books coming out this summer are already out. So we already have The Hideaway Inn and The Girl Next Door out. I will have reviews up for those very soon. Yeah, so next we have Avery Flynn's Which You're Gonna Do, which doesn't have a date yet, but I could have missed it. I'm so excited. So the premise is it's a magical family. She's the magical dad, and she runs their social media, and she has a kerfluffle. I can't wait. I can't wait. It sounds so fun. I've enjoyed Avery's writing before, so I'm hopeful this will be a great addition to her catalog as I watch my cat try and scale things. All right, and then last for this, we have Naima Simone's newest Harlequin cover, The Trust Fund Fiancé. The heat that this is giving off, I cannot handle. This is such a good cover, and I really need to read the Texas Cattleman series ASAP. All right, last but not least, we have our events merch random collection of stuff section. First up, we have the Bronx's Reading book event that's happening June 6th. There is a romance panel with Ruby Lang, Kwana Jackson, Kate Claiborne, Zoe Castile, and Norma Perez Hernandez. This is happening, there's no time. So link down below, go RSVP. I will be there with you hanging out. There is also an event for book people in Austin for $5. You can watch Serena Harris, Kwana Jackson, Vanessa Riley, and Farrah Roshan chat about romance and romantic women's fiction, we'll call it. It's like romance adjacent. It's definitely, some of these are more women's fiction books, but I think that can be great. Also, it's $5 to go to a bookstore, and a small bookstore at that. And then Jasmine on Twitter launched this amazing store with all of these designs like support Black authors, read Black books, read Black romance, support Black librarians, Black bloggers, etc. All of the things. I wanted to shout it out. I think it's such great design work, and everything looks so good. I'm still trying to decide what I want to buy. And then last but not least, if you're interested, there is a blackout buddy read going on that Books with Shay is putting on to read. They're going to read White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism by Robin DiAngelo. And then they're also going to read White Rage by Carol Anderson. This is going on from June 5th to June 19th. I think this is a great opportunity for people to pick up these books and read them. I know I need to. I've got to read more nonfiction. But that is the Romancelandia monthly update for May. What a month. I feel like this is the longest one in a while. I hope you enjoyed it. I said I will have links to all kinds of stuff down below. Please look at the description box. I promise you if I talked about it, it's linked down there. And I will see you soon with another video, and I will see you in July with June's Romancelandia update. Let's hope it's a slightly calmer month and we can find the next normal instead of this continuation of ramping things up. I will talk to you then. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Bye.